What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I've bought the best car ever. This is a 2001 Toyota Camry, and it is my 2001 Toyota Camry in all of its glory. You may have thought this car was the best car ever. Trust me, I am just as shocked as you are that it is not. In my 3 years of ownership of this M3, I've learned a lot about the car hobby, more specifically how expensive it is. So today, we are going to talk about how a European car enthusiast ends up in this, a mid-trim Econobox from Japan. When I was in high school, I thought having a cool car made me cool. What it actually did was nothing, except bring me enjoyment. Which is fine, except I couldn't really afford that enjoyment long-term as a high schooler. In high school, when my car would break down, all I had to do was call my father and he'd come pick me up or let me use his car to go to school 2 miles down the road. Now I'm in college, and if I call my dad and tell him my car broke down, he'll probably laugh and respond with something like, "Figure it out." So, Toyota Camry to the rescue. Now, this was not my first daily driver choice. There were a couple others I wanted, like an EP3 Civic Si. I was looking at Mark V Volkswagens with a 5-cylinder engine, and a couple others. But my mother had bought this car for my sisters about a year ago, and when they saw it, they asked questions like, why doesn't it have Bluetooth? Why does it look old? And how do you use a CD player? Which, frankly, makes me feel really old. I, however, took great interest in this vehicle, and I told my mother, ultimately, when she sells it, because I knew nobody in the house was going to keep a 21-year-old Camry, to give me a call. And well, here we are. End of video, and that's it. Wait a minute. My notes are telling me that there is more to this. Oh yeah, but I'm going to get to a larger point with this car that I think a lot of us less experienced, newer automotive enthusiasts need to hear. But for starters, let me talk about the things I like about this car. For one, I average 31.5 miles to the gallon coming back from Ohio, and I've kind of done some MPG averaging, and I tend to get pretty much 30 at the lowest. I do a lot of highway driving, and the point still stands. It is about the same gas mileage that my M3 gets, except there's a big but. This Camry uses 87 fuel. You know how expensive 93 octane is right now? It's not very pretty. I suspect that this Camry was able to do that because of its weight. It is significantly bigger than my E36 M3, but it weighs a lot less. It only weighs 2,998 pounds, whereas the M3 weighs 3,187 or something like that. It has the 4-cylinder, so I'm sure that played a very big part in that equation. Putting aside how cheap it is to run, parts are very cheap too. Behind my back, I'm holding out in hundreds of dollars how much a power steering pump costs for my M3. The Camry is about $100. Take a guess. Nope, you're wrong. $500. A power steering pump on my E36 M3 costs 5 times as much as it does in this Toyota Camry. And that was actually when they sold the power steering pumps. Now you can buy a rebuild kit for like $50. They're hard to do. You're probably gonna have to pay someone to do it anyway. And it's just overall very inconvenient. Inside of here is pretty nice too. I appreciate the easier to maintain cloth interior and the very utilitarian controls. And the cherry on top, working cup holders. I could put an actual drink in here. Not something that I can say about the M3. The M3 does 0 to 60 in just shy of 6 seconds. This Camry does it in well, okay, so maybe that wasn't the greatest for this car, but I think what a lot of us car people forget is that we don't need a cool daily driver. There's nothing wrong with having something boring so that your fun car can be even cooler. I go spotting for these Camrys. I mean, this is a 20-plus-year-old car. I see at least one a day. Like, I always try to find my one of the day. And I saw one with the pizza delivery triangle on the top of it when I found mine 3 days ago. Not something I can say for an E46 BMW. However, it's not all amazing. There are a few things I don't really like about this Camry. For starters, the dome light does not come off softly like does my BMW. It comes on and off instantly, very utilitarian. It also does not stay on at night after I close the doors. As soon as the doors close, it turns off. I'm young, and frankly, my eyes don't need the extra buffer, but what really bugs me about this car is the freaking levers. These stupid levers for the gas door and the trunk. I don't know why the Japanese makers just never give you a button. I really wish they'd do that. It's kind of nice when I have my M3 and I have a bunch of stuff I'm carrying and I can just hit the button and open the trunk. And the Camry, you have to use the key. So I'll go fumbling through my pockets and try to find it. This is probably a cost-saving measure from the factory because this was a much less expensive car, but my point still stands. But honestly, I think the best way to explain how I feel about this car is to go on a Sunday drive. Actually, it's Saturday. I don't know what time you're gonna see this video, but anyway, go on a drive and give you my honest impressions of how it's been to live with this car, what I think of it, and why I think you, I'm talking about you, should also buy a mid-trim or even a top trim Japanese Econo box. So driving the Toyota Camry now, I think it's become pretty apparent that I like this car. There's just something cool about it. Honestly, when I was a kid and I lived in Kentucky, and I just kind of have this memory of one of my mother's boyfriends. He had a Camry that was, I think it was, I don't know, some 90s Camry. Looked identical to this, had this exact same interior. I think the exterior color was even the same. Just like riding in the back seat of that car, I don't know. Just like a core memory of mine. Big nostalgia vibes. And just kind of a reminder too of the cars of yesterday. You know, there's nothing crazy about this car. It just kind of gives you what you need and doesn't give you what Toyota didn't feel was worth spending the money on. I do wish this car had Bluetooth, although I have like this little like dongle thingy. I bought it on Amazon. It's kind of bad, honestly.
Device is ready to pair. The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
And even driving this car is kind of a little bit interesting. It gives you like just a little bit of feedback, but not like because it's supposed to be giving you feedback sort of thing. More or less just because like that's just how cars were. It just has feedback. It's even this like 4-speed slush box GM transmission. Oh, this guy's trying to race. This 4-speed like slush box GM transmission. I can feel it when it shifts, and like I can kind of like try to time the shifts with my foot and like make it kind of do what I want it to. Like I can kind of feel that in the gas pedal. Or in a modern car, it's just like they either give you paddles or you're just guessing as to what the transmission's gonna do. The steering has a little bit of feedback in it. I mean, of course it's soft and the whole car is just like wobbly, but I mean it's a Camry, but it just has a little bit of feedback and like I can kind of feel what's going on. I don't feel totally insulated from the driving experience, which is just kind of cool. Obviously it's nothing on my M3, but I mean just for a normal Econo box, it's something that I can appreciate. Something else I kind of like is the amount of space this car has. I didn't think my M3 was small. Like it is a small car, but it uses the space pretty well. But once I started driving this Camry, completely different ballpark. I can't even reach over there. And it's kind of nice. The trunk, like whenever I throw my detailing equipment back in there, like for a job, super easy. I just load it all up, never a space concern. And especially when I put my computer in this car, like if I have to transport it, oh, that thing is a behemoth. This car is so much easier for that. That's all she's got. Force the transmission to downshift to third. Not very fast. Not even fast. And like you can't even use that word to describe the speed of this car. I think a lot of us car people kind of get dead set on the one car that can do it all, the enthusiast daily, like a Civic Si, a Golf GTI. Honestly, even a 3 Series is kind of a compromise when you think about it. 4-door sedan. But I subscribe more to the 2-car solution. The problem with a car that can do it all is you sacrifice something. There's no free lunch. Sure, the Honda Civic Si drives pretty good and it rides okay, but it's, you know, it doesn't ride like this car. This Camry, it's floaty, but it is so comfortable. I never have to worry about potholes in this car or ride height concern at all. The Honda Civic drives nice, but it doesn't drive as well as a sports car. So I think I'd rather have a boring daily and then use the saved up leftover money to have a sports car. You know, I don't need this daily to be a race car. It's a Camry. I just drive it. It is worth to me the utility of having a car. And that's not to say that I'm not going to take care of it or like it. I actually do like this car, and I am going to keep it nice, but I'm not going to be super particular and specific with it like I am with my M3. You know, I actually do still park in the back of parking lots. That one's kind of a a car person staple right there. But I'm not going to be super particular with it. It's going to get driven in the winter. I'm going to crown it, put some rust protection on it, but, you know, I need to use it. For where I'm at in my life, this car was a godsend. I needed a daily. I've known it for a year. It took me 2 years of owning the M3 to realize that, but I needed a daily, and this car showed up when I needed it. And honestly, it has changed everything. The amount of stress that I have with the car hobby has gone down significantly. Oh, my M3 needs a head gasket. Oh well, I'll just fix it whenever, right? I have a place to keep it. Now, obviously I want to fix it, but you know, I'm not stressed about getting the car back together for the sake of getting it running and driving again. I spent a lot of money on my M3 just for the sake of, oh, well, I have to get it running because I have to go to work. I have to go to class, which sucks. That is not a way to own a project car at all. No old car ownership should be like that. You either restore it all at once and then drive it, or you buy something that's more reliable, the daily driver. But that is my take on daily drivers. Comment down below what your dailies are. I want to hear what you guys are driving. Do you daily your M3 or 3 Series or project car? I sincerely hope not, but I want to hear it anyway. Tell me some stories. I don't think I'll ever be in a point again where I'm dailying the M3. Maybe it's like a summer daily, but this car is probably going to stay with me for a very long time. So take care, everybody, and I will see you in the next one.